Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, we shall be looking at data cleaning using Python. So, what is data cleaning? Data cleaning is the process of fixing or removing incorrect, corrupted, incorrectly formatted, duplicate or incomplete data within a data set. Now, sometimes in the process of collecting data, those data can be wrongly formatted, and so because of that, they are not correct. So, in this video, I shall be cleaning a data set on diabetes results of patients. So, I will just go right away and click on my Jupyter Notebook prompt here. Okay, you're welcome to the home page. So I'll quickly navigate to the folder having the diabetes data. Okay, so this is the folder having the diabetes data. Okay, now what I want to do is I will open a new Python 3 file. Okay, so here we are in a new Python 3 file. Before we get started, I want us to take a look at the data set itself. Let's look at the unclean data set. It is in CSV format, so I will simply click here. And then you can see there are quite a whole record of these diabetes results. See, quite a whole. I think there are over 1,000 rows of this data. So we close this. Now, what are the cleaning process we want to carry out on this data set? First of all, we shall be checking the number of columns. We shall also be changing the misspelled column names to the correct ones, and then I shall check for missing value, and then I'll check for duplicate values and also for outliers. So when I check for them, I will now either replace them or drop them. So these are the process of cleaning data sets. Now I want to take what I'll be doing as a markdown, and then I'll say the data shall be cleaned. Checking columns. Changing expense. Columns. All I want to do is checking this. Before I want to do is checking duplicate. And the last is checking Pandas. I simply run this someplace. So before we get started, there are some important libraries that will be needed for our cleaning process in this video. Now the first one, so I'll comment this. I want to importing necessary. Like this. The first one I want to import is Pandas as PD, and I also want to import CSV as SNS. Then I run. Pandas is a very dynamic library in Python used for data analysis. It gives statistical, information and also helps to give meaning about data. While CSV is a very unique data visualization library that gives really strong visuals and charts with which you can use to make inferences. So that is why we are importing them. So when we import Pandas as PD, what it simply means is that anywhere we are referring to Pandas, instead of calling out Pandas, then we simply use it as PD. And then also CSV, instead of calling out CSV, we simply call it out using SNS. So that is what it means. Now the next one we want to do is to read the file. So read the file. Now in reading the file, we put df equal pd.read underscore CSV open brackets, then we put parentheses, and then now since this Python file is located in the same folder having the data sets, I simply go to the folder and then I click here. You can see that, and then rename. In renaming it, I simply copy, and then I come here and paste Ctrl V. So when I do that and then I run, okay, the file has been successfully read. So we want to read into a data frame. Now we want to check the top row. We want the system to give us the top row of the data, top records of the data set, top record of the data set, df.head. Okay, and then so this is the top record. Oh, sorry, please, I took in the wrong data set. Okay, here we have it. Copy. Paste. Okay. I have to run this again. Okay, and then I run this again. So this is what we have. Now the next thing we want to do is to check for the number of columns. Checking apart from number of columns, also check for column names. Check for number of columns. Now to check for number of columns, use df.columns, and then we run. You can the keyboard for running of a cell is the keyboard. The keyboard function for running of a cell is Control plus Enter. Then, okay, so if we look at this column, you will discover that there's an ID name, there's an ID number, and then the number patient. You can see that here, the number patient. You know, if you are very conversant with hospital services, you discover that it is not supposed to be number patient. There is nothing like number patient. Instead, it is patient's number, and then the data set has the gender, the age, the urea level, the CR level, and other important details. So now the next thing we want to do is to rename. The column that is number portion to portions number. Okay, so in doing that, I simply come here df dot rename open bracket columns equals you have a curly bracket and then number portion we are changing it to patient's number. Okay, and then you put in place equal true. And we run. Now, when we talk about in place equal true, in place is actually a Pandas method that kind of make a permanent change to the original data set. So it means anytime we are referring to this data frame df, this change has been permanent. Now, if I did not use in place equal true, the default method is false, meaning that this will be a copy of the original data frame or of the original data set. So, but as I have put the method in place equal true, it has now made a permanent change to it. So now the next thing we want to do is we want to confirm the change. Confirm the change. Now in confirming the change, we take df dot column again. Okay, then run this. Okay, so we can see here that the name, the column name has been changed to patient number. Now we come to the second aspect. We want to change. Okay, we have changed respect column name to the correct one. We want to check for missing value. We want to check for missing values. Now to check for missing value, to check for the missing values. Okay, we'll say df dot list1 dot sum. Okay, then we run this. Okay, so what this method actually does is that it gives us this sum of rows or records that are missing. It gives us the total sum of records that are missing in each column. So for the ID column, there is 0 record missing, and then patient number, no record is missing, and then age, you can see it is 1, missing record, and then the CR is 2, and then we can see here that the highest is what HbAIC, while the rest are 2 and 1. This one is HbAIC. Now, sometimes when you discover that a data set is containing missing value, now when the data set is high and when the missing value is high, you cannot neglect it. You cannot just drop it, because it is going to really affect the data set. But when it is low, you can you can drop it. So because this 3 is quite on the high side, we are going to replace it. So in replacing it, have to replace the missing values in the column HbA1c. Now in replacing it, we're going to look for the mean value. We're going to use the mean value to replace it. So mean value is equal df square bracket. Okay, and then I simply drag this and drop all out the mean. So I run this. Okay, so I want to check what is the mean value. So I write it out. What is the mean value of this particular column? And when I run this, okay, so you can see that the mean value is 8.284. Now we want to use the mean value to actually fill it up. So we say df, or instead of writing, we'll simply, okay, let me comment this using the mean value. So replace missing records. Now, using it to replace the missing record, I will simply highlight this, drag and drop here, and then I will use the dots fill now method and then I say missing value. You fill it up with the missing value in place again, called true. Okay, and then I run. Okay, so we want to confirm. Sorry, please. We want to confirm the change. To confirm. As a data analyst, anytime you are working on a data set, you always try to confirm the change so that you don't work in the dark. Now df dot is null. Okay, dot sum. Then okay, so let's quickly see this. We can discover that the HBAIC has actually been filled with the mean value. So there it is no longer containing a missing value again. Now since that has been settled, so for the rest of this I would want to drop them down. So I'll simply comment this dropping the missing value of that. Now to do that, I'll say df1. So I'll now give you this a new data frame. It's called df dot drop now. So you use the drop now method to drop NA values, and then in dropping it, I want to confirm again that it has been dropped. Df dot sum dot sum, and then I run this. Okay, so we can see that it has successfully been run. Yes, so there are no missing values again. So the next thing we want to do is we want to check for duplicate values. Now before we go to that, I actually noticed something in the data set. Before we go to that, let's check for the information. Let's check for information concerning the data set. Information concerning the data set. So we use df as info. Okay, and then I run this, and then you can see that there are df1, please, df1, because it has been changed. I run this. Okay, so we can see that there are 999 values that are not null in nature. That means they don't contain missing values, and then the first two columns are integers, and then the third one, which is the gender, is an object, while the rest are floating data type, floating numbers, and then the class is also an object. Now I want to take a look at the class. Now to take a look at the class, I want to check what are the type of classes of people that we have, in this data set. Now to do that, I'll say df1 dot group by, and then I use group then I put the class. Okay, and we see SS. Then I want to find out the aggregates by counting them. Okay, so these are the classes that we have in the column class. So we have class n, which is 102 in number, and then we have another class n again, which is 1, and then we have p, which is 53 in number, y, which is 832 in number, and then y again, which is 9 in number. So you can see that there's a problem with this column, because how can y here and then also y here? So what is the difference between the both of them? Now, in order to know that, I will now use the function. I will say I want to check for the unique values in the column class. So to check for that, I say df square bracket class and then dot unique. I'll call in the unique method when I run this. Okay, so we can see here, very good. So this is the n, and then this is another n, and then this is p, and then so if you look at this data properly, you will notice that there is a space in between this place. Yes, there is a space in this n, meanwhile there is no space here, and then there is a space in this y, and there is no space here. So that is actually a problem also, because we cannot be working with a class. Let's say we want to visualize this particular column class, we cannot just have NN PYY against the measure. It does not tell well of the data. So this also require cleaning. So this require cleaning. Okay, so to clean that, we want to replace it. To clean the column, I replace. So I will replace this unique variable to be this, and then I also replace this one to become this. So I replace the unique values. Now, in replacing the unique values, I'll say df1, and then you pass in the class column is equal df1 square brackets class column dot string dot replace. Sorry, please. So then we want to change y with a space. We want to change it to y without the space, and then we'll do the same thing for n. But in doing the same thing for n, I simply copy this, Ctrl C, and then I paste it here, Ctrl V. Then I come here, put n, and then I put n. So when I run this, Okay, so we can see that it has successfully run. Now what is happening here is that I call out the class column in the df1, and then I said df1, I want to replace the unique values with the unique values having y with spaces inside. I want to replace them with the unique value of y without the space. Now what .str means is that .str casts the column class. It turns the column class to a string data type. So it is from the string data type before we can now perform the replace. So a column must the dot replace method only works when the column is in a strange data type. Now remember, let's go back to the info. They want to check the info. Now if you look at the class here, you will discover that the class is having the object the data type is object. So you cannot replace it directly. You have to first of all cast the column to become a string before you can now replace it. So that is what is happening there. Now we want to confirm if the change has happened. So to confirm the change, I simply say df1 square brackets class dot unique, and then I run this. Okay, so you can see that it has successfully been changed. So there are 3 unique values in this particular column. Now we move over to the next point, which we are supposed to, it is to check for check for duplicate values, and then we are also checking for outliers. So we are checking for duplicate values. Now before we go to check for duplicate values, let me check for outliers. Now what are outliers? Outliers are values that are exaggerated. Let's take for example, you have a column having records like, and having numerical records like 2, 4, 5, 6, many of them are mostly 1-digit numbers, and then you now have that same column a record like 1000. So you can see that 1000 as a record in that particular column is an outlier. So sometimes outlier comes in as a kind of a mistake during data collection. So when you are dealing with data or you are cleaning data, one of the top priority is to look for outliers, because outliers can especially if you are building a model from your data, it can actually distort the model and actually report a false it can produce a false result. So we want to check for outliers in the data. So I simply comment this, checking for outliers in the data sets. Now to check for outliers in the data set, I want to use the box plot. Yes, the box plot, and the box plot is actually a visualization chart that is available in the Seaborn visualization library. So the xns.boxplot, and then I want to call out the CR, specifically the CR. Now I want to take us up a little. Now when you come to this fifth row and fifth column, you see that it is CR. Now CR is a floating number, so outliers can only happen in a float number. So you can go through each and every one of them, using the box plot, so that is how you can check for outliers. Now we want to run this. Okay, so you can see here that there is a very huge gap from this point to this point. So this particular record is an outlier in terms of when you compare it with these ones. So we want to deal with it. So how do we deal with it? I want to use the maximum quantile of the column. Yes, the record of the column that falls within the highest the fourth quartile. Yes, the fourth quartile. So we want to take that, and then we'll say choose the maximum quantile to fill in the outliers. Now want to say max CR is equal to df1 square bracket CR dot quantile open bracket 0.995. So we are using at least then we'll print the max CR. We want to know the maximum quantile using this particular value 0.995. Now when we run this, okay, so you can see here that 401.0. So the maximum quantile for the column CR is 401. Now we will now use this number to fill up the outlier, which is 800. So we create a new cell, and then we will say df1 square bracket df1 square bracket, call out CR greater than max CR. Run this. Okay, and then come down. We'll say, so we want to, after we have done this, now we want to assign it. We want to assign the new data to a new data frame. So we say call the new data frame to be df2 equals df1 square bracket df1, okay, square bracket, and then cr less than max cr. We run this. So now to actually confirm that a change has been made, it is very good to always confirm the change. You say sns.boxplots open bracket df2 taking the square bracket cr. Now we run this. Let's see. Okay, so you can see that the data has actually been filled up. This is 250 and this is 300. Now we want to look at another column. We want to look at another column, which is we want to check another column. Let me see if let's take the HBAIC. Checking for outlier. In HBAIC column. SNS.boxplot open bracket df2 square bracket, then you add it. Let me copy this HBA1C. I'll drag and drop it here. Let's go. Okay, so we can see here that there are no outliers in this data. The distribution is quite even. So now let's check for the next cleaning, which is for duplicate values, the values that are duplicate. Now to check for the values that are duplicate, I'm going to use the method along this checking for duplicate values. Now I'll say df2 square bracket df2 dot duplicated okay. Now when I use the dot duplicated method, it is going to give me either a true or a false statement. So depending on whether the column contains duplicate values. So but then if I use something like dot sum, what it will give me is the sum of duplicate values for each column. So I want to use the dot duplicated, and then when I run this, okay, so we can see here that in the first record we are having there is no duplicate value. In this second record there is no duplicate value. In the third record, like that. Now when we get to the record of 1000 or the 1002, we can see here that there is a duplicate value. Now what do we do with duplicate value? The best thing to do with duplicate value is to drop it. Yes, that is what we do with duplicate values. Values that are duplicated, you drop. So do df3 equals df2 dot drop underscore duplicates. Okay, and then we run this. Okay, so we can see here that it has been run. Now let's confirm the change. To confirm the change, we'll say df3 dot duplicated from brackets dot sum. Okay, we can see here that there is 0 record that is duplicated, so that means our data set has actually been freed of duplicate values. Now the last thing I want to do is to save the new data. Saving the new data set into a CSV file. CSV means comma separated value. Now save, we will say df3 dot to underscore CSV, and then you pass in the file path. Now since we are going to be saving the file into this data, the best thing we want to do is to just into the folder same as this Jupyter Notebook. We'll just give it a name, cleaned data2.csv, and then run. Okay, so our file has successfully run. So thank you very much for watching this video and actually learning one or two things. I await your comments in the comment box, and I do hope that I'll be able to give you more videos subsequently. Thank you very much, and see you next time.